Good. Well, thank you and welcome everyone. My name is Gina Price and I'm a founding member of the Sociocracy Consulting Group. I first heard about Sociocracy in 2004 in the context of an eco-village, and I've been working since then, learning, bringing Sociocracy to Australia, becoming certified, training, consulting across sectors to intentional communities, businesses, and also into schools, which is the topic of the current talk. And Jessie is my co-author on this.
Hi, I'm very new to Sociocracy. I'm Jessie Barber. I'm a primary school teacher, and I've been teaching, was teaching for the last 3.5 years at Jarrahdale Primary School, but I'm now with Woodbury Boston Primary. And I'm coming from the perspective of just being really passionate about holistic education of students and finding ways to support them to engage in authentic learning experiences. So the presentation that we've got for you tonight or today is Sociocracy in Schools, looking at our experience of the Harvest Bounty restaurant, which was a restaurant evening for 80 guests held at Jarrahdale Primary School in August 2017, planned and run by primary students using Sociocracy.
So when we were putting this talk together, the question we were really exploring this project is, can learning sociocracy have a positive impact on learning outcomes and social behaviour in primary schools? And we'll be welcoming your questions at the end of the presentation or in the chat. And next slide. Over to you, Jessie.
Okay, so a little bit of background. Jarrahdale Primary School, where the restaurant was held and where this project took place, is located in Jarrahdale, which is a very small historic town in Western Australia. It's about 45 kilometres southeast of Perth, which is the capital city of Western Australia, and it's classed as being in the outer metropolitan area. The town itself and the school lie right in the Jarrah forest of the ancient Darling Range. So a beautiful setting for a school.
Can I just ask everyone to mute? There's a little bit of background noise.
There we go.
Excellent, thank you. The Harvest Bounty restaurant project was designed to bring the whole school together to realise a dream and create something special. The dream of the restaurant was the first thing we created with the children in every class of the primary school. We got them to shut out their eyes and imagine coming to school and the school being a restaurant. The vision for the whole project was to create a harmonious world where people grow and eat good food. The mission was teaching primary students how to garden, cook, and work collaboratively on a project. The aim was to produce a restaurant evening to showcase student skills as an annual fundraising event. There were 83 students at the school participating, and they aged from 4 years old to 12 years old.
So this diagram was created to show the elements that were present in the school that brought about this project and allowed it to be so successful. So in the purple, you can see the elements relating to the attitudes of staff and students. The orange are the elements of the facilities and physical environment that the school had. And the green represents the practical skills related to carrying out the project. And finally, the yellow shows the elements relating to the skills, experience and structure that allowed facilitation of the project. So the reason for the project focus, having a restaurant and choosing to to run it like this and use Sociocracy in this way for this project was actually based around the school's Earth Aware program. And that program was a way of combining cooking and gardening as part of the Stephanie Alexander Kitchen Garden program with a WasteWise program, a WaterWise program, and a Digital Technologies program. And that was run at the school each week with all of the students across the school in multi-age groups. So in every group there was 4-year-olds right up to 12-year-olds. So the orange that you can see there, the school had the commercial kitchen and a well-established kitchen garden that was established and used through the Stephanie Alexander Kitchen Garden program. So Stephanie Alexander is a well-regarded Australian cook, restaurateur and food writer with a passion for food education. So that program teaches students how to grow, harvest, prepare and share fresh, seasonal and delicious food. So the children and staff had been regularly participating in cooking and gardening sessions for multiple years before we took on this project. And so they had a lot of the skills, the practical skills that were needed for that. And it really paved the way for a high level of student interest and engagement in the restaurant project because the students were really ready to showcase their skills.
Another key element was the staff, and here we see the staff with the students. Iona here was the kitchen's cooking specialist, and she was the vision holder. She came up with the idea of running the restaurant, and she was a powerhouse operationally in the kitchen. Stacey over here was the garden specialist. She had a permaculture background, and she was the one who was the key link to bringing Sociocracy to the school through her knowledge of social permaculture movement. And that's how I got to come and work with the school. Jessie, as a teacher, had a natural resonance with the methodology, and as a teacher of the senior class, she had built really strong communication skills in that class. So they were ripe for training. Julie, the principal of the school, is dynamic and was very open to new ideas and very innovative in what her vision for the school. And she also had a bit of a hidden agenda that she thought this would be, by training the students in collaborative decision making, it would help the staff in their staff meetings. What I brought to the school was a vision for collaborative leadership amongst children, starting working with children. And so together we had a basket of skills, we had passion, and there was a natural resonance between us all. And it's noteworthy that there was nobody in the school who was in the role of a doubter or an objector or a cynic about the project.
But also not really anyone with prior Sociocracy experience either, Gina. Okay, so the senior class, which was my class, was 8 to 12-year-olds. They carried most of the load of the project as the senior class. So we divided into 4 separate circles, which you'll see on the next slide. And after 4 sessions of training, they were ready to work independently in their circles. And you know, in electing representatives to the general circle. So we were very much training on the go. We were making decisions, or the students were making decisions as they were learning how to make decisions. But it worked and really, really thrived. The students were able to run the circles themselves, and there were some excellent facilitators. And just reminding you, we're talking about, you know, 8 to 12-year-old children. They were confident with their peers, and they were engaged, hearing each other and sharing ideas and opinions. It was brilliant. They understood how the process was helping them, and which allowed them to show a deeper level of respect for each other.
This is the organisational diagram for the project. And it was great that every one child in the school could locate themselves and how they were contributing to the project via this organisational diagram. The senior classes form the customer service circle, the food circle, the finance circle, and the ambience circle. And the students self-selected into these circles, and from there they formulated their circle aim and they described their domain of tasks for which they were responsible. The 3 outer circles were formed by the younger classes. Tables and flowers, tickets and recipes. Each class held elections for representatives to their in the more inner or the more general level circle, and you can see the elected representatives here.
As a school and as a class teacher, learning about elections through the Sociocracy process was really interesting and had really good outcomes. Previously, elections were sort of secret ballots, and transparency was really new. It was a confidence boost for students who didn't expect they were getting nominated, and for other students it was challenging. The students that were elected were not expected, and some had never had the opportunity to show leadership skills. These students really shone. They had the opportunity to shine, and an opportunity they hadn't had before. Over time, the process became easier and easier, and particularly for those students that found it challenging at first, having it out in the open, transparent.
The older children found the consent decision-making process allowed for everyone to speak and have ownership, including those that were left out in a brainstorm or a call-out, which were the usual techniques used in the classroom for generating ideas. During a round to develop this proposal on the screen, that each table has a setting of 4 real multicoloured flowers. I remember the person who added the piece and some greenery for the table setting. Well, it was really delightful when I arrived on the restaurant evening to see the greenery was this huge piece of chard or silver beet was along with the flowers in each of the table settings. And another beautiful touch was the table numbers, which were written on the wooden spoons in the table settings.
So Sociocracy gave us a structure whereby we could work as a team and involve all the children, all the classes, all the teachers and adults in the process. Everyone took a part and ran with it. So the menus were produced by the 5 and 6-year-olds.
The restaurant looked beautiful and the kids could talk about it. They totally owned it. The students of the ambient circle decided on this entrance statement, and they decided to emphasise the gardening and farming harvest theme, and also to use materials they either had or would later use so they could stick within their very limited budget.
So this project was so much more than ticking curriculum boxes. It was seeing people grow. To see 10 to 12-year-old students running a restaurant for 80 people with 2 adults present on the night was unbelievable, and they showed great pride in their own efforts. The structure of the menu, 3-course meal with tasters, and the choice of dishes were decided on by the food circle. And all students in the school played a part in preparing for the food, preparing the food in the weeks leading up to the restaurant night. And students from the food circle finalised the food preparation on the night. So it was really a big team effort.
And through the project, the whole school was brought together to realise a dream and create something special. The process couldn't be matched with workbooks or worksheets. And what you're seeing here is the wait staff in action on the night. And the wait staff were comprised the 6 final year students. And it was a decision that was consented by the 9 to 12-year-olds that these students should have the privilege of waiting on the tables.
So as you're seeing through our presentation and in this diagram, we found that the benefits and outcomes of this project were far wider than just improving learning outcomes and social behaviour of the students. And it was Sociocracy that enabled this to happen. They filtered from the school level through the staff and students and to families and the wider community in a huge range of ways. We'll now touch on some of these benefits, starting at the school level, where Sociocracy gave us a framework which endeared a sense of belonging, which strengthened the community, and has opened up further opportunities which are manifesting throughout the school this year. So, as a quote from the principal of Jarrahdale Primary, Julie Denham: "As a principal wanting to drive and get things going, I'm often one voice directing everyone else. Sociocracy is changing how things happen and how we make decisions. Whether it's with staff, within the classroom or within the P&C, everyone can feel they have a role, a part and some ownership over whatever it is we are doing."
So the benefits at the staff level in the Westbrook project allowed the teachers to see how the process worked, and they could see the value in it. It encouraged interdependence and collaboration. So Stacey, the garden specialist, said, "I can teach the kids to garden, I can teach them about the planet, but teaching them to get along together and make decisions is probably a far more valuable gift." And Jessie found that the curriculum at the upper primary levels is about listening and responding to others. This was developed using Sociocracy as they were expanding, questioning, or clarifying something put forward by someone else. They were building skills in a way that was not led by the teacher. And Iona, as a kitchen specialist, said it gave them skills in talking to people, in working in groups, in following a plan, and in doing so many things.
At the student level, the benefits of learning Sociocracy were broad and deep. Academically and socially, the benefits could be mapped to every subject area in the Australian curriculum, and the real-life experiential basis of the project provided rich opportunities for building emotional intelligence and leadership skills. There were particular benefits for certain students, particularly students with language difficulties, students that were needing strategies for resolving conflict, those that were struggling to be open to the ideas of others, but also those that were ready for leadership and facilitation roles and ready to analyse decisions at a deeper level. So it was hitting right across the spectrum of students and abilities and strengths in different areas. The principal made the comment that one child has trouble communicating because people don't wait. He has blossomed with Sociocracy as there is space for him to be heard. Now the other children notice he has good ideas. A student with executive functioning and processing difficulties is usually was usually tardy and lacking in confidence. On restaurant night, he was ready, in tune and initiating tasks as we thought and before we could even say them. It was a fantastic self-esteem building experience for him, and he walked away feeling really accomplished.
At the family and wider community level, the benefits of learning Sociocracy could be vast. Parents see the capability of the children as they work together, and decision-making skills are taken back to the families. This year, the Jarrahdale Primary School Parents and Citizens Association are receiving Sociocracy training. This is unleashing a new level of collaboration between the school and the community and is raising the community's perception of the school. So next Sociocracy conference, you can expect to hear about the fruits of what this collaboration at the school and community level brings forth. One of the mothers of the children noticed that her daughter, Layla, who was a school counsellor, usually took on a lot of jobs and found it hard to delegate to other students. The restaurant project, however, gave her the opportunity to work in a team and learn how sharing jobs made life a lot easier. It was amazing to see the whole school have a part in planning. On the night, the pride that the students felt from their hard work was beaming from their faces. They pulled it off and it was perfect, a fabulous night. And as principal, Julie didn't used to feel part of a team. And the Parents and Citizens Association also felt that often only one or two people were being heard in their meetings. What Sociocracy offers our school, says Julie, is just invaluable.
So just returning to our initial question, can learning sociocracy have a positive impact on learning outcomes and social behaviour in primary schools? Hopefully, as you've seen from our presentation, the answer is absolutely yes, and the benefits are so much more. We love this quote from Stacey Smithers. If all schools adopted this from their kids all the way through their staff meetings and into their P&C meetings, I think we'd change the world. And I agree.
And to finish off, this is our favourite picture of the senior students. You can see that they are an empowered and a self-directed bunch. So thank you very much for listening, and we're happy to field any questions.
Thank you very much, Gina and Jessie. Can I ask something?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
I was extremely interested by your conversation, your presentation, because I'm very keen to know more ways of how to get sociocracy into helping school community, building community. And so this is one project you did during a part of the year. And I guess my question is, how do you see it kind of permeating all aspects of decision making towards the school becoming somewhat of a democratic community?
That's a great
question. You answer that, Jessie.
That's a really, really big question. And I think my experience of this is that it so depends on the school as a community. It's something that can't be driven by one or two people with a vision. It has to entail an entire school coming together. And what was so special about Jarrahdale Primary School is that it's actually a public government school. And yeah, it was quite a special fact that we were all on the same page, that we could bring that together. And even though I'm not at the school anymore, I know that that's something that they're going to continue and they're going to run with. And I think it's going to be a matter of taking small steps over time. So taking on the project this year, which involves redesigning the kindergarten space, with the P&C and parents involved and the students involved as well. I think it's going to be a matter of these smaller projects coming together to eventually become something bigger. And I think that's both the principal and I kind of share that vision of it's going to be a slow process over time to get to the point that we're able to run a school on sociocracy, partly because of our own knowledge as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
I want to know what has been the roles, what has been your roles, your Gina and your Jessie. Are you teacher in this school or are you consultant for Sociocracy? So from which role did you do this project?
Well, I'm a Sociocracy consultant with the Sociocracy Consulting Group. So I did this the school was a client of mine. And I'm working with them now with their parents and citizens group too. So whereas Jessie was a teacher in the school, and so we've just partnered together to give this presentation.
Thank you.
Hello, Jessie and Gina. Thank you very, very much. Quite inspired. I live in Greece, and the curriculum in the Greek schools, especially the public ones, it is quite tight. And most of the time there is no time for a project like this, but we're trying. And I would like to ask, because I missed the 2-3 minutes in the beginning of your presentation, do you also practice double linking and feedback during the process with the pupils? Thank you.
Yes, the circles were all double linked. So the younger classes elected representatives to the older class circles, and then the older classes were on the general circle. So yes, all the circles were double linked. And was there another? Oh, and feedback. Yes, there was feedback via the double link. Yeah, the students got to go back and report to their class.
And I guess great food has been great feedback.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. And it was very good food. I think that's the end of our time, and probably time to transition to the next session. So thank you all very much for coming along.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.